meetings, and I'm so glad to be able to share this very special occasion with you. So let's start this. The lightning of the chalice. Just a second, sorry. Excuse me, but something. The lightning of the chalice and all the poems for this Mother's Day service comes from the International Book of Prayers and Meditations by UU Women, published in 2018 by UNOSZ, the Association of Unitarian Women of Romania, dedicated to the 450th anniversary of Unitarianism and the world's first edict of religious freedom. The publication includes prayers, poems, and reflections from UU women worldwide. Half is devoted to contributions from Hungarian speakers. The other half, the international selection, contains works by UU women from the non-Hungarian speaking world. In the original language and translated into English and Hungarian. UNOSZ, the International Women's Convocation, have collaborated on this project, from publicizing to the call for contributions to editing the English text and the Hungarian translations. So let me start with the chalice lighting with one of the poems from this book, which comes from Pamela Greener-Levy. She's from France. Sisters on a Journey, it's called. We gather in a circle, sharing our triumphs, sadness, pains, and hope. Women together praying for peace, remembering our worldwide sisters, dreaming of different life. No wars, goodbye to violence, hunger, or meaningless death. Midwifying justice, praying for hope for all. We are sisters on a journey, singing out as one. And now I invite you all to have our check-in round, where we all say our names and the place from we are calling from. So I'm starting. I'm Julie and I'm from Transylvania. Hi. Do not forget to unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Gabor and I'm calling from Morristown, New Jersey.
I'm Laura Stonke from Central France.
Sharon Boston, College Station, Texas.
Julie Steinbuck, Claremont, California.
Sarah Boyd, Houston, Texas.
Sharon Falls Church, Virginia.
Nancy Granovsky, Bryan, Texas.
Javine Hertz, Vilbeck, Denmark.
Phyllis Marsh. Oh, Phyllis Marsh, Maryland.
Texas.
Mary Geissman from New York.
Beth O'Connell, Paris.
Kathy Burek, Coon Rapids, Minnesota.
Kathy Napper from Bethesda, Maryland.
Jacqueline Thomas from Louisville, Kentucky.
Krista Minerson from Warren, Maine, USA.
Gary Kennedy, Seattle, Washington.
Elvi Sherris from the Philippines.
Beanie Hills from Brisbane, Australia.
I'm Jeannie Lewis. I'm Jeannie Lewis from San Marcos, Texas.
Melinda Shimo from Udvarhely, Transylvania.
Diane Dudley from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Julia Harris from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Nagy from Transylvania.
Ina Husing from Germany.
Lori Garland from Joliet, Illinois.
Denise Tracy from Elgin, Illinois.
Karen Porch from Lake Bluff, Illinois.
Thank you. I may come down. I'm just going to what like and organize this first.
Okay, thank you all and welcome again, all of you. I now kindly invite you to mute yourself and turn off your cameras unless you are one of our speakers for this special program. I do remind you that today's gathering will be recorded and will be available later for viewing. I now invite Mary Geissman, a member of the Women's Alliance of the Unitarian Church of All Souls, New York, to offer a special tribute to Betty McCollum, who died of the coronavirus in April.
Okay, am I unmuted? Okay. Okay. Last night, the skies over Milwaukee were filled with shooting stars from the Lyrid meteor shower. The celestial dust is the memory of a comet that last visited the Earth in 1861. My mother, Betty McCollum, joined those stars last night, shooting across the sky and blanketing all of us in her magical stardust. I hope that she will visit you in your hearts and in your dreams as the celestial fairy dust of her spirit spreads across the universe. She is leaving us with so many wonderful memories and as a model of how to live life to the fullest. Betty's daughter Vashti wrote these words the day after Betty lost her fight against COVID-19 on April 21st, after a 3-week struggle in the hospital. It is most appropriate that we remember Betty during this Mother's Day gathering of UU Women Worldwide. Betty was a loving mother to her daughter Vashti, her son Angus, and her 5 grandchildren. Her loving relationship with her family showed through the messages we received from Vashti during Betty's hospitalization. Betty was also a beloved friend to many UU women throughout the world. She was president of the Women's Alliance at All Souls Unitarian Church in New York City. And when I was asked to serve as president, she mentored me and became a very good friend. She continued to be active with us, and as program chair, she introduced us to Reverend Carol Houston, who presented a program on the International Women's Convocation at one of our meetings. She was very supportive of the Women's Convocation and hosted Justina from Poland and LV, who I notice is here, from the Philippines during their visits to New York. Betty recently joined the board of the UU Women's Federation in the US. And at All Souls, she was a lay pastoral associate, a deacon, a member of Monday Night Hospitality, and many other committees. She was an All Souls delegate to a number of general assemblies. To close, I would like to read from a prayer I received from Eileen Mashol, our former executive director. May the fire transform her soul and reignite your passion for carrying her love out into the world.
Thank you, Mary. May her soul rest in peace. I am calling out now women and mothers who's been particularly affected by the coronavirus, or someone who's lost someone dear to them. If you have anyone in mind who you would like to mention and you know that she's been affected by this pandemic, then bring her name to this group if you're willing to.
Cecile Spalding.
Mary Bassett and Ruth Thacker, two members of my community who are ill with the virus right now.
We keep all of them in our thoughts and prayers. Julia Harris, a member of Hope Unitarian Church of Tulsa, Oklahoma, will introduce us to the musical interludes of this special Mother's Day program. This musical interlude will be a tribute to women who died during COVID-19.
Violinists Elizabeth Obel and Abigail Mills joined me for this touching melody, which was shared with us by Rachel Hay. Rachel grew up a UU in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and her youth group would sing this round at the close of each meeting using these words: good friends, let me tell you how I feel. You have given me a treasure. I love you so.
Thank you. I now invite Renee Hills, lay leader of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brisbane, Australia, and member of IWC's Global Sister Leadership Council, to read her poem included in the International Book of Prayers and Meditations by UU women.
Thank you, Julia. Infinite Song. Music of life, singer of earth, hear us now as we give birth to a song of grief and mirth. Lament for loss of giving essence to patriarchy, discord, shame so senseless. Yet rhythmic joy follows the insistent call to harmony, healing strength encircling all. May we roar with the infinite song of hope and love. Symphony symphony soaring to release the dove. Chorus of ancient mothers, unborn daughters, singing together a new earth order. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Renee, for your special poem. For this special occasion, Reverend Addae Kraba, President of the International Women's Convocation and Minister of the UU Congregation of New Braunfels, Texas, and Gizella, Nagy, Vice President of UNOSZ, the Unitarian Women's Association of Romania, and former IWC board member, will offer us words of comfort, wisdom, encouragement, and inspiration. Rev. Addae, please start.
Thank you. Greetings, dear sisters. I'm honored to speak to you today because I know that being here means you are thriving and surviving in the midst of global chaos. If you are angry, weary, or exhausted, you are not alone. Because modern life as we know it has largely been put on pause. It's easy to feel anxious and overwhelmed and impose social distancing, sheltering in place, loss of loved ones, and the fear of what is yet to come. As mothers and leaders, women have always been the nurturers and caretakers of others. And while this is a time when care and compassion are primary, that includes offering it to ourselves. What is giving you comfort, courage, and compassion through this time? How are you nurturing yourselves? Where can you find joy amidst the chaos? Remember, rejuvenation requires rest, and when our bodies are at rest, we have space for joy and renewal of our spirit. There can be no greater example of this than that of our Mother Earth. While we sheltered in place, the natural world continued to rumble on. And after 50 years of celebrating her, she showed signs of rejuvenation in the 6 weeks of rest from our absence. As air pollution plummeted, Delhi, one of the world's most polluted cities, had the cleanest air seen in decades. The Himalayan mountain tops were visible for the first time in 30 years. And typically smoggy Los Angeles had the cleanest air of any major city on earth. Rest and rejuvenation. We too need time to do things that nurture and replenish our bodies and our spirits. Maya Angelou writes, we need joy as we need air. We need love as we need water. We need each other as we need the earth share. In these difficult times, we need to find the small things that bring us joy, because joy is life-saving. Rest and joy are essential to resilience. Listen to your favorite music. Revisit your favorite poetry. Spend time in silent reflection or do nothing for a while. Just as Julia Ward Howe called on the women in her Mother's Day proclamation to do, I too urge you to make time for grief, bewail the losses caused by this pandemic, and one day we will be able to arise from our shelters to resume the activities of daily life, albeit in a different way. But we will once again take counsel with each other, and rather than dwelling on past losses, better appreciate the positives that life offers and continue our work of supporting women and girls to improve their lives. We will be stronger and more resilient than ever. May it be so. Blessed be.
Dear sisters, dear Gabor, I feel honored to talk to you. We live strange times. The present is confusing. The future, we only try to imagine. The past is the only thing we can see clearly. We, mothers, women, leaders, must take responsibility for the quality of the restart. We cannot say now how we will continue when the pandemic is over. Our life will be different. We will miss some of our beloved, lovely faces and all the rituals. Even our security will not be as it was. We can decide to lament on what is lost or try to accept what is unchangeable and get the best out of what is left. We, mothers, know very well the meaning of the words of duty and responsibility. And we know the true meaning of giving. Here in Eastern Europe, during communism, we already experienced the feeling of giving even if we did not have enough for ourselves. During those times of desperation and poverty, we set a table for guests. We shared unconditionally what we had, and we always had something to share. It was possible because we, women, have always been creative. We may not sit at the same table with men, especially at decision-making tables, but our leadership in the family and in our small communities, wherever somebody needs help, remain eternal. That is why the future does not fill me with fear. There is nothing more uplifting when we can share what we have with others. And there is nothing more uplifting than being part of a community of UU women worldwide. In 2012, the second international UU Women's Convocation in Transylvania offered a crutch to all the women who hadn't been able to start walking on the path of a changing world. More than 500 Unitarian women gathered and let their voices hear. They were given the platform to talk about their wishes, dreams, and needs. Thanks to this international UU Women's Organization, women's empowerment has become the main issue of our National Unitarian Organization, UNOSZ. The Convocation sparked ongoing empowerment and leadership training programs for women and strengthened Unitarian women's organizations of Transylvania. The Unitarian women from Hungary organized themselves into an association and started offering programs to their members. The experiences of the leadership school inspired the idea of a leadership handbook, which is being prepared for publication. We are inspired and uplifted when we can share our Mother's Day plate collections with our sisters in faith in other countries. The Mother's Day plate collection in Transylvania is part of the International Plate Collection Program of IWC. It is a sign of respect and appreciation for women. On International Women's Day and Mother's Day, IWC encourages UU women, congregations, and women's groups worldwide to attend the movement to support the programs of IWC. We are immensely proud of the way Transylvanians came together to help our sisters in faith in India and the Philippines to make life better, not only for the women in their communities, but for their entire societies. Once, a poor but wise Native American woman, while walking in the mountains, found a precious stone in a river. A little bit later, she met a wanderer. The wanderer was hungry. The woman shared her food with him. The wanderer saw the stone and asked her to give it to him. The woman gave it to him without hesitation. A few days later, the wanderer went back to the Native American woman and told her that he had brought the stone back. He said, "I was thinking, I know how valuable the stone is, but you have something more precious, and I would like to ask for it. Please, share that special something within you that enabled you to give me the stone without hesitation." A global novel virus that keeps us contained in our homes is changing life as we know it. But with gatherings like these, I am continually reminded that we are all in this together, that our human family is one and beats with one great heart, and we are all here for each other. We share a sacred space grounded in love, kindness, and compassion. Nurtured by connectedness with UU women from around the world, we gain strength and resilience, enabling that special something within all of us for a kinder, more caring, and a better world. I end my thoughts with the words of Margaret Fuller. I do not know that I have anything more to say except heaven bless you. Heaven bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for both of you. I now invite Reverend Diane Roller, Minister of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, Canada, to share her Mother's Day meditation, one of her contributions to the International Book of Prayer and Meditations by UU Women.
Thank you so much, Júlia. This is a prayer for Mother's Day. O Mother of all, you are an image of beauty. The Buddha's mother giving birth, painlessly holding the branch of a tree. The Madonna with her child of infinite promise. She, the icon of maternal perfection. Yet it never is so simple. We who are mortal mothers know. We know how far we fall from our own expectations of maternal grace. So let us give thanks this Mother's Day for mothers who have tried their best, who have loved, who have wished to love and be loved, who have stood by their children in those quiet hours and times of pain and transition, in those times of joy and celebration. May we sing a song of love and compassion for those reaching out to mothers who can no longer answer or who never could respond. May we sing a song of love and compassion for mothers who cannot be with their children on this day. May we sing a song of love and compassion for women who dream of motherhood that never comes. May we be mindful that this day can also bring painful memories of loss and disappointment. If we have known the blessings of love, may we pass on what we have been given, be it small or expansive, be it precious or imperfect. O Eternal Mother, may your love be wide enough to hold us all. May you bring us peace. Amen. Blessed be. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Today's offering will be presented by IWC Outreach Coordinator Julie Steinbach and former IWC Treasurer Phyllis Marsh.
Okay, here we go. All right, so we've been around a number of continents, and I'm going to take you today to the other continent that we haven't talked about yet, or that I'm not sure somebody is here from. Usually our friend from Uganda, Sylvie, is here. So if you made it on, Sylvie, welcome. So I'm taking you to Uganda because one of the recipients of, to Africa, because one of the recipients of our Share the Plate this morning, the Mother's Day collection, is on the continent of Africa, and because the IWC has its noble history rooted in Africa with its very first project in Uganda, which was started in 2005 by Reverend Renee from Pennsylvania, and it was, 2003. And it was the first recipient of IWC's own project funding, a decision made at the historic First Convo in 2009 in Houston. And this is the program that started as a schools project near Kampala, Uganda, Mutundwe specifically. I was there last May, and these are some of the students that were there. The future mothers of Africa and the beautiful young girls. And then we are going directly to Kenya. Here is the welcome of Kenya. We're going to visit the project in Western Kenya called Acacia in Kenya. And here when we left Nairobi, there was a beautiful sunrise showing an acacia tree. Acacia in Kenya was an outreach project of the First Parish UU Church in Waltham, Massachusetts, started in 2005, almost the same time as Renee Wan's program. Renee went to Uganda and started her project. Joyce Moore on the right is from Massachusetts, now in Maine, and she went and because of her connection with Massachusetts, Sam Lutomia on the left, and his sister Linda Lutomia is the project coordinator now. She lives there in Mumias, Kenya. The project, the first major aspect of the project was setting up a girls' school. There had been just a girls' school for high school in local community buildings, and they built this school. The project, the motto of which is, as you see, education for empowerment. And that's the principal on the left, the current principal, Josephine Omamo. The girls in their classes outside and their chemistry lab, and they're all have such short haircuts for equality purposes, and also so that they don't spend time away from studies fussing with their hair. One of the classrooms has 7 Singer sewing machines, which those of us who've had mothers with Singer sewing machines really resonated to, like myself. And these are the Singer sewing machines that can now be used for mask making, actually. Another project that Acacia in Kenya funded was a water tank that was very much needed by the school. And then also the building of 2 dormitories that now house 400 girls. And this allows the girls to come to school in safety and stay at school. This is where they live, they do their own laundry. And these girls were there on full scholarships over the course of their 4 years. And just for perspective, as we walked out of the school, one of our hosts pointed down to the right and said, "This is the oldest road in Africa." It was originally a trading rut where the slave traders came from the Indian Ocean port of Mombasa into inland to Uganda to snatch their wares to take them to the rest of the world. And Matawa Road, the oldest road in Africa, the red roads of Africa, and 100 kilometers up the road, Obama's village. He's very much beloved there, of course. So Acacia in Kenya not only is involved in education for girls, but has now expanded to other areas to increase the marketability of local products for the farmers, and which almost everybody is involved with. And so we happened to be there when they were doing a workshop outside, teaching how to make jam, yogurt, and soap. And of course now soap is a even greater need. This is the class. Linda Lutomia is there in the center in the red t-shirt. And then the other big aspect that Acacia in Kenya is involved in is teaching girls about reproductive health and hygiene. We happen to also be there on May 28th, menstrual hygiene, which is honored all over Africa. And May 28th is the date chosen because the month of May is the 5th month, which represents 5 days of a menstruation period, and 28 days, the days of the cycle. This is training girls to break the silence. There's Linda in the pink and her good friend Ima. And we sat in on one of this workshop, which was, oops, sorry, which was given to these 200 girls packed into another school, secondary school in rural Mumias. This is what they were asked, what they use right now without sanitary pads that we in the developed world take for granted: tissues, mattress, sanitary towels, cotton handkerchiefs, the challenges they have. So when they're given sanitary pads, the rounds of cheers go up. We also visited in Nairobi another organization that is involved in the same thing that Acacia in Kenya is beginning to collaborate with, and I include these because of the quotes as part of their promo materials. 4 in 5 girls in East Africa lack access to health education or sanitary pads, and they make them available. And one of the responses is that girls say, "It makes me proud to be a girl. I know I'll go as far as boys can go." So Acacia in Kenya, by the end of our time there, we had come up with the idea of a global sisters gathering collaboration with IWC. The board made that commitment in January. A steering committee was formed and was meeting monthly, and then the pandemic hit. So everything is on hold. It was targeted for October 2021 in Western Kenya, October to coincide with the International Day of the Girl. And these are the players here. You see Linda and Ima, her friends, Joyce on the left, Candy Hutchinson up in the upper right, who is a board member, and myself on the left. And Anna, one of the future women and mothers of America. She was 3 in this picture. So what's going on in Kenya right now? 700 cases as of a couple days ago, 251 recovered, 33 deaths from COVID. And it's in that size population, 54 million, that's a relatively low number because a strict curfew was imposed, travel restrictions, neighborhood lockdowns, and requirements for masks and sanitizers, and closed markets. However, the economy is tumbling, as in many places. Most families, usual measures of getting by just aren't working, and so people are going hungry. The biggest challenges are these. In a rural area, without a lot of education or access to information, there's such rumors going around that, oh, corona is only a disease for rich or white people or city people. There's also in a rural area no access to masks or soap. And the curfew has closed everything down. Organizations closed, small businesses, so people have a hard time getting food and are going without food. Schools are closed, which also makes it difficult for access to TV, internet, or electricity, which many families don't have. So classes at home or even information is unheard of. Plus, mothers have to go out to figure out a way to farm and get income. So girls are taking over the household chores, which means they're alone and subject to the male predators that roam, taking advantage of such, oh, I'm so sorry, situations. And, oh God, I lost my cursor. Wow. Here we go. So, Acacia in Kenya is responding with what they can do. And Jofi has been in regular communication with Linda Lotomia, and Linda came up with a budget for what they need to be able to do the following: reaching 200 girls with sanitary pads, families with buckets, and because running water isn't often available, so they have to carry water. So on distributing masks, making refill soap, as you saw that they have the capability of doing that, transporting and distributing materials, sanitizing and training community. They've already started doing sensitization sessions, and the need is actually quite immediate. And so when this came up earlier this month, the board already has raised $650 and sent it to them to be able to start this immediately. And one other aspect is that Joyce Moore in Maine, with the funds of Acacia in Kenya, also was in the process of donating money for them to buy a Suzuki vehicle, so that they would be able to transport more safely and readily. However, Joyce just wrote yesterday, in typical Kenya fashion, the owner of the vehicle, a mother, didn't know that her son was trying to sell it out from under her, and she made it clear that it was not for sales. as a super vehicle. So as a temporary fix, they bought a boda boda. A boda boda is the name for motorcycles in Kenya for to be able to make a safe response. So Convocation Kenya is ready to go with a boda boda. This was taken when we were there. And with your help, they will be able to go on. Asante Sana is the Kiswahili term name, words for thank you. And one last save the date. The annual meeting that usually happens at GA. The breakfast will be online, and the featured speakers will be Linda Lutomia and Joyce Moore. And I think Linda's Facebook page, which is where that's from, is particularly fitting here. I have the power to change my world, and we women at IWC are evidence of that. Phyllis.
So I think, Jofi, you had another one you were going to put up on the screen, weren't you?
Yes, just 1 second. Yeah, my slideshow froze at the okay, I'm putting it up right now. Just 1 second.
That's okay. Good morning. At least good morning. Here it is. Good morning. Just hello to everybody. My name is Phyllis Marsh, and I have been with IWC almost from the very beginning. I would like to begin to say that, to identify that there are two things that bring us together in this way today. One of them, first of all, is COVID-19, which keeps us all at home and has provided us with a wonderful way of reaching out to each other, and I have appreciated getting to know some of you in this way. But the other thing that brings us together is an organization, IWC, the International Women's Convocation, dedicated to working for women's empowerment through UU connections around the world. And while we are in the middle of a pandemic, we can also have cause for celebration, as this is the 10-year anniversary of the founding of IWC. And what this organization has accomplished in 10 years is pretty amazing. You saw from Gizella how she took the ideas and what she did there, and the programs in India and the Philippines and Bolivia and Uganda. And as I thought about what I was going to say today, the words of Margaret Mead, the very famous words of Margaret Mead came to mind. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. When IWC started, there were precursors to IWC when UU women from all over the world, but also here in the United States too, started seeking a way. And we recognize Carol Houston's group of women who asked us to do a study action issue at GA that did not get adopted. And that inspired my own church to start programs in the Philippines. And gradually we found our way to each other in a convocation in Houston in 2009 that led to the foundation of IWC. And I would just like to raise up I honored those women who led that convocation. And I can't name all of them today, but the names that come to mind of the convocation and the resulting starting of our organization are Barbara Beach, who was the first president, Arlene Johnson from Tulsa, Laura Nagel, who lived in Houston at the time and was treasurer for a long time, program director. Naj, I think, was there at the very beginning. Reverend Rebecca Sienis of the Philippines, and Dr. Christine Nielsen, who is no longer part of the organization, but continues her work in the Philippines. 10 years later from that, just women deciding to make a difference, the numbers that Gizi provided me with this today are pretty amazing. IWC has granted $150,000 of scholarships for women around the world to attend our events, including coming to our convocations. We have been able to facilitate over $100,000 grants and other funds to benefit women-led projects around the world. Over 3,500 women and girls collectively have been impacted by IWC. And of course, this past year, we had the exciting news that we were recognized by the United Nations Economic and Social Council as being in special consultative status. So I feel IWC is living out the words of Margaret Mead, of thoughtful, committed citizens working to change the world. And in order to do that, we need an organization to bring us together and to keep us together so that when we get out of this pandemic, we will still be there to work to continue working to empower women, to empower women to lead in their communities. We need an organization to keep us going. We need an organization to provide for the Zoom calls, to provide for the website that connects us, to keep Jofi working. Jofi is our executive director and she's done a wonderful job. And let's face it, the pandemic has caused a disruption of funds, a disruption of the economy that we're all feeling also. But I just ask you today to remember the work that IWC is doing in keeping us connected and in going forward when this is over to continue to do the great work that we have done together and that we can continue to do together. And Jofi has put up on your screen the ways in which you might do this. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you.
Good morning, and thank you for all those wonderful words. I'm Jerry Kennedy, and I'm currently the treasurer of the IWC, and I also would like to encourage you to think kindly. Today's, as you can see, 25% of what we get today will be going directly to Acacia in Kenya. The need there is imminent. And so we wanted to be able to raise some funds. We don't have time for that whole long grant making and drawn out appeals to get the money to them because it's a need right now. And they've been very careful in working on their budget. What they would like to do with much of the money is purchase cloth so that they can make masks and keep things to a minimum there. You're welcome to mail the check. It actually comes to me and goes right into the bank. You can donate on our website and you can donate through our Facebook page. So however you're able to do that is much appreciated. We are very frugal with your money, and it will go for good works, the good works that you've been hearing about today. So thank you very much.
Thank you all for this presentation. And now I invite Júlia Harris. She will introduce the next musical interlude.
The 20th century violinist Fritz Kreisler transcribed for violin and piano this beautiful melody from Gluck's opera Orpheus and Eurydice. Elizabeth Obel is the violinist, and I am accompanying on piano.
Thank you very much for sharing this beautiful melody with us. I am bringing now the closing words of our meeting. May we remember gratitude for this gift of life. In the midst of turmoil and pain, may we still be attentive to the beauty and the preciousness of all life, to wonder and to marvel at its presence. May we kindle more love, more joy, and more song into our hearts and into our days. May we be led out in peace, and may we give back love. It's been a joy being with you this morning, afternoon, or evening. Please connect with us next week at the same time and invite others to join in. We welcome your feedbacks. Just drop us an email anytime. And until next time, stay home, stay safe, and take care of yourself and of your beloved ones.